A new report commissioned by the United States government alleges that artificial intelligence poses an existential threat to humanity if not properly regulated. And it won't be properly regulated. So just buckle up, because we are now facing an existential threat to humanity.
Yeah, guys, I want to double down on what Anna just said. There's no way we're going to do the regulations that they suggested. So listen carefully as Anna tells you what the threat is, because apparently it's real, which is very scary. I'll give you my thoughts in a sec.
Yes, so more on a government commissioned report that's basically a waste of resources because the government has no interest in using the information in the report to do the right thing. The report was written by Gladstone AI. It's a 4-person company that runs technical briefings on AI for government employees. The authors worked on the report titled "An Action Plan to Increase the Safety and Security of Advanced AI" for more than a year. They worked on it for more than a year, and they spoke with more than 200 government employees, experts, and workers at frontier AI companies. Okay, so at the end of their investigation, they concluded the following. The US government must move quickly and decisively to avert substantial national security risks stemming from artificial intelligence, which could, in the worst case, cause an extinction-level threat to the human species. Okay,
oh boy.
So that's what's gonna happen. like just see this as a step-by-step, your future, this is what it's gonna look like, okay?
There's two giant threats. I think one is a much bigger deal than the other, but the one that's not as big a deal is definitely gonna change the world, so go ahead.
So they write that the rise of advanced AI and AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, has the potential to destabilize global security in ways reminiscent of the introduction of nuclear weapons. And if you're wondering what AGI is, it's something that's currently being developed. It is not developed yet, but AGI could, it's like technology that could perform tasks at or above the level of humans. And so since these systems don't exist yet, I don't want anyone to think that it's not a threat. They're expecting to have this like fully developed in 5 years or less, so it's coming. The report also focuses on 2 separate categories of risk, as Cenk alluded to earlier. So let's talk about what those 2 types of risk categories are. Describing the first category, which it calls weaponization risk, the report states such systems could potentially be used to design and even execute catastrophic biological, chemical, or cyber attacks, or enable unprecedented weaponized applications in swarm robotics. Fun.
I'm gonna explain that in a sec.
And then there's the second category. It's what the report calls the loss of control risk, or the possibility that advanced AI systems may outmaneuver their creators. There is, the report says, reason to believe that they may be uncontrollable if they are developed using current techniques and could behave adversarially to human beings by default.
Yep, okay, we're definitely in trouble. So let me break it down without doing like histrionics and etc. But look, you can begin to understand through common sense how some of this might play out. So in terms of the weaponization risk, that's the one that's much more real. Will they at some point weaponize AI? Of course, they weaponize everything. So you think they're not gonna make, well, they're already making killer robots. We did a story on this a while back. The Pentagon hilariously is claiming, no, we wouldn't use those robots to kill people, as they're beginning to put weapons on them. Of course they will. Look, they're already, every country, not every country, but a lot of countries are already using drones to kill people, and that doesn't have artificial intelligence, but it is some mechanism that's killing from afar, and they're using it in Gaza today. For example, Israel is, when those 100 hungry people, 112 were killed as they were rushing for the food. It was both tanks and drones that were killing them from the sky. So now the swarm robotics within the weaponization is what could change the entire military landscape of the planet. Because this is something that I've been talking about for a while. and I always give credit to Wes Clark Jr., who brought this up a long time ago, way before AI came around. He said, well, look, eventually the Chinese are gonna put up 1,000 drones and they're just gonna run them into our jets. And then we're not gonna have any air superiority, which is how we've mainly maintained control over the whole world, right? But now with swarm robotics, it's possible that our entire Pentagon is useless, other than the nukes.
Because can we stop funding it then?
That's what I was thinking. I mean, that might be the one I'm saying, but then they're gonna fund this. Because imagine a swarm of drones with artificial intelligence attacking an aircraft carrier. And they're all loaded up with bombs. What's the aircraft carrier gonna do? It's a sitting duck, okay? So, and imagine now Iran has them. Why can't they have them? They can have them. It's not that complicated. So now, there goes your control of the waters, let alone the skies. So this stuff is headed down the pike. It would be, I mean, maybe it takes us 5 years and maybe it takes China 7, 4. They could develop it before us. Maybe it takes Iran 12, but they're all gonna get it eventually. So it's gonna change the entire, very likely change the landscape of the military at a minimum. And these guys are saying this is the biggest national security threat, and this is commissioned by the government, and they were part of the original people who were part of founding AI in the first place. So they're the OGs of AI. They're not some randos that don't know what they're talking about. Now, this is the weaponization part is the less important part. Loss of control means we're done for. So that is a thing they cannot screw up. So if they accidentally program them, especially the ones that are weaponized, to preserve their own life or their own entity over us, and they're smarter than us, well, then we're in a world of trouble, because they're definitely gonna be smarter than us. And by smarter, that's a very loose word, but they're going to be able to access more information, they're gonna be able to make better decisions, and us versus them, if they're weaponized and we lost control, good night, Irene. And so that one is, I hope, less likely. I hope. But remember, it's already happened once, although no one thinks of it in this way. You know, we did create machines we lost control over. Those are called corporations because we wrote the wrong code. We wrote only one line of code here in America, maximize profit, and we didn't give a second line. So the corporations took over everything in an effort to maximize profit, and now we will all live under corporate rule. All of our politicians are controlled by corporate donors, and they pass only things that help corporations, and they crush us and our standard of living and the life that we enjoyed here in America. So those robotic machines already exist, but now when you make them physical, that's another round of hurt that's headed potentially in our direction. I can tell you, if you're not scared enough yet, I can tell you why there's no chance we could stop them.
No, sure, go ahead.
Okay, so these guys suggest regulations, and you could debate whether the regulations they suggest are exactly right or not. I don't think that's the important part. The important part is there's no chance they're gonna pass. Why? Because right now Silicon Valley is in a mad rush to get the best AI first among the different companies, Meta and the others, right? And one of the main reasons is NVIDIA, relatively new company, their specialty is AI, and they have skyrocketed into the top 7 wealthiest corporations in the world.
Oh, the Pelosi's know.
Yeah, so everyone's trying to be NVIDIA and trying to beat NVIDIA. So, and there is a world of money involved here, past billions, okay? So now you think you're gonna get in the way of all that money? The corporations already control government. There's no way they would allow the government to not allow them to make billions or maybe even trillions of dollars. They're gonna steamroll any politician that dares oppose them. So there's no way they're gonna pass these regulations. And remember, they're also competing against the Chinese and other countries. So they have a super easy excuse. Well, if we don't do it, the Chinese will. And that'll be the fig leaf that the politicians use to make sure that they don't get in their way as they create these AI apparatuses.
Yep. Why'd you tease that story for the bonus episode?
But okay, so we're done with it?
Yeah, definitely done with it.
Okay, don't get too depressed, man. We die.
Too late.
But the real competition is between AI and the super babies. I've been talking about the super babies for a while.
Let's bring in the super babies. I prefer the super babies.
You know why? Because the super babies are at least kind of human. And
they are human. They're just gonna do like genetically modified babies that are like better than us. Okay, who cares? Let's move on with our lives. Everyone's like panicking over it. I'm like, why are we panicking over super babies?
You know why? Because
I think we need a little bit of help. The human race needs a little bit of help.
Well, the thing is, okay, now we did this serious story. Now we're into fun, crazy speculation, just so you're clear on what we're doing, okay? Look, the super babies would be a different class. Since they would be considerably smarter than us, we're gonna catch feelings. That's the nature of this ape.
No, I would prefer to have more people who are smarter than me in the world.
I know, but you're alone.
Babies.
You're not alone because we have the TYT community. But the great majority of human beings are gonna catch feelings. And they're gonna wanna tear them down. And since they're smarter and stronger than us, they're not gonna wanna be torn down. And then we're gonna get into a conflict, okay?
Yeah, okay.
But we might need the super babies to attack the super AI that's coming. So that's the future you have to look forward to.
I wonder what my super babies would be like if the technology was already there and I could afford it.
See, even she's tempted to do it. I'm telling you, the super babies are on their way.
No, I'm excited.
But maybe they'll save us.
I'm excited about the super baby situation. I think we all should be, okay? But the AI robots getting together, getting smarter than us and then killing us, I'm worried about that a little bit.
Yeah, and super last thing on this. Guys, things evolve. Evolution is real. So like we think this version of humanity is gonna be around forever and ever and ever because we're so freaking special.
I hope not.
Yeah. No, we're likely going to evolve. And so the way that we would evolve in the modern world is through changing our genes. Like physically, literally changing our genes.
I do it every day, Cenk.
Yeah, and it's not like we haven't done it before. We did it to wolves and we turned them into Charlie.
See?
So maybe it could be positive.
See?
So that's headed up, but so don't freak out. It's okay, whatever will come, we'll deal with it then. Stick together and we'll be okay.